the Teal Mask DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet just came out, and we got some brand new Pokemon along with it. Today I'll be giving you my first impressions on all the new Pokemon and how good I think they'll be in competitive play. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff. Now, of course, since I am going to be talking about the new Pokemon, that will mean I'll be spoiling some stuff about them. Of course, their stats and their move pools and whatnot. Also, some Pokemon that may not have been officially revealed, so assuming you guys don't want to get spoiled on anything like that, you can just click off the video. But yeah, there's your warning right there. So with that, we're just gonna get right into it, I think. So first thing I want to talk about is Dipplin. So this thing is pretty underwhelming, I think is the word, right? Because well, there's just not a whole lot to get excited about when you look at it, because, like, I mean, first of all, these stats, I mean, not the worst thing ever, I guess, but, like, still kind of leave a lot to be desired. Doesn't really excel in anything besides defense. Then we look at the moves, and it's like, huh, well, these sure are moves. He's definitely got these, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just don't see anything here that's really, like, worth getting pumped about, because it's just all just very basic, and, like, it doesn't really even have coverage. Like, it's just, like, from what I'm seeing, it's mostly just, like, grass dragon, and then, like, some normal moves, I guess some bug moves also. That's, wow, riveting. So yeah, this guy is not really living up to expectations, which is kind of saying a lot, because I feel like most people didn't have many expectations for this thing when it was announced, but somehow it still manages to disappoint a little bit, which is kind of just impressive, really. Of course, it does have its ability, Super Sweet Syrup, that basically effectively makes your moves more accurate. Although I guess it's not like a permanent thing. It's not like the Ruin Trio's ability, right, where it's just always active. I think it works more like Intimidate, where you send it out and it drops their evasion. So I guess if they switch out, then your effective accuracy buff doesn't matter at that point. But, you know, you can bring this guy in, and then you got, like, you know, 100% accurate Dracos or whatever, which is, I guess, you know, pretty neat, or Leaf Storm or whatever. But is that enough? Is that enough of a crutch for this guy? I don't know about that. Here, let me explain to you more effective terms why I think this mon is so underwhelming, because this guy already exists. His bro over here, Appleton, just kind of does his thing better, because they're both trying to be, like, bulky guys, right? I mean, just going off stats, like, Appleton looks a little bit more like a bulky attacker, whereas Dipplin seems more like just, like, purely defensive. I guess not purely, because he does have, like, decent attacking stats, I guess. But in my opinion, I just think Appleton does what this guy wants to do, but better. Like, he just does everything better, in my opinion. Because first of all, he's got a better ability. He's got Thick Fat, which is great. Stats are not the craziest either, I'd say, but, like, the 1 in 10 HP is really nice. And 100 special attacks, not bad at all. Rest of the stats really aren't that bad either. But I think the main thing that just makes Appleton so much better is the move pool. He just has so many better moves than this guy does. Like, he's got Apple Acid, which is great because you just keep dropping the special defense every time. He's got Body Press plus Iron Defense, which is a fantastic combo, especially on a defensive Pokemon. He has actual coverage, like Earthquake. You can do, like, Leech Seed shenanigans. He's got Recover. Like, I think he just does anything Dipplin wants to do. I think Appleton can just do it better. And, like, you can also just abuse Terra better, I feel like, especially with Thick Fat. So, I'll be honest, I really don't see any reason to be using this thing. I just don't know what it wants to do. I guess it has this move or whatever, but, like, I don't feel like that's enough. This move's kind of whatever, and it's so weak too. I feel like Appleton just does everything better than this thing. That being said, I should mention that some people have figured out a quirky little thing in the games that apparently Eviolite works on this guy, which What's the deal with that? Does that mean this guy evolves somehow? Kind of weird. But Eviolite does work on him. People have done the done the calcs, so that's kind of interesting. So I guess in that regard, it would be technically bulkier than Appleton holding Eviolite. But even at that point, I still feel like I don't know if he's that good really, because yeah, he's bulkier, but I feel like he still doesn't do as much as Appleton can. It still feels very mediocre. Like, okay, he's got the bulk, but what do you do? Do you spam recover? And what? Leech? Do you not even? He doesn't even get Leech Seed. What is this? What does this Pokemon do? I don't know. I literally don't know, guys. I'm so flabbergasted that they made this thing for seemingly no reason, and it's inferior to both its other evolutions. I just don't get it. But yeah, Dipplin, rather disappointing, I'd say. But you know, with that out of the way, let's move on to the next new guy, who is Sinistcha. I don't know why they felt the need to mix up the names. It's just confusing. Anyway, this thing, so it's the convergent evolution form of Poltergeist, I believe. If we pull up Poltergeist, he should, I believe. Oh no, they do not actually have the same stats. I thought they did, but they don't. Do they even have the same BST? Okay, they do. Well, Poltergeist stats look way more appealing than this guy's. This guy's is a little bit more bulky, at least on the physical side, and more HP, but less special attack, which I feel like, I think the higher special attack is just better, because it's just, you know, nice for the damage output. But yeah, this thing, I don't think can really compete with Poltergeist. I'll be honest, because first of all, let's get this out of the way. He does not learn Shell Smash like Poltergeist does, so that's already kind of a downer, because, you know, Shell Smash is like Poltergeist's whole thing, and this guy can't do it. So you may be asking yourself, well, what can it do? Well, it does have this ability, which doesn't do anything in singles, unfortunately, but it does have Heat Proof, which is not, you know, it's not bad, because it does get rid of that pesky fire weakness it has, since it is a grass type. So that's decent. At least it does something. But yeah, I mean, look at the moves. It still has, it is able to set up. It has like Nasty Plot and Calm Minded stuff. So there is that, but still, like, no Shell Smash isn't great, especially because I feel like you want something to boost the speed on this mon, right? Yeah, but besides that, it's got stuff like Stun Spore, Strength Sap, which, you know, isn't bad. Also has Scald, which I think is funny. I guess it makes sense, right? Because it's a T Pokemon, so it's got hot water. But then this thing does not get Scald, which becomes kind of confusing. Then I feel like it should get Scald if this thing gets Scald. I feel like it makes sense because they're both T, you know? Whatever. So Scald is something, I guess, that's like kind of neat, especially since not many mons get it in this gen. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is kind of a scenario like Dipplin, where it's like it's not very clear what this mon wants to do. Like, it kind of wants to set up, but like, I mean, it can set up, but it's like it doesn't have, like, what moves does it have? Okay, you got Shadow Ball, you got Scald, you got Leaf Storm or Giga Drain, and that's basically it. And that's not great coverage. I mean, like, Offensive Ghost is always good, but like, I don't know, this guy seems like he struggles a little bit. And Grass Ghost also historically has not been like the best type combo ever. It does have Terra, so you can like work around that a little bit potentially, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. This thing seems a little bit lackluster in my opinion. Just kind of seems like a worse Poltergeist. And yeah, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot for it to do besides try to set up, but then, like, again, not a very wide move pool. That was something Poltergeist already struggled with, because it also doesn't have a lot of coverage, but, you know, at least this gen has like Terra, so it can run like Terra Blast fighting or stuff like that. Which I guess you could also do on this thing, but I feel like at that point, why don't you should just be using Poltergeist at that point, because it's like, it's just better, because it has Shell Smash, so it can do the whole setup sweep thing better. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, guys, like, I feel like this guy still just does, I mean, he has the one niche, right? This is like the one thing he does, but he does it pretty good, and this guy feels like he wants to be that, but he's just he can't cut it. Because like, yeah, besides that, I don't know what this thing really does besides like generic grass type things like Stun Spore or whatever. Yeah, I guess Stun Spore plus Hex is like something. But yeah, I don't know. Also, he's got the signature move Matcha Gacha, which is basically Scald plus Giga Drain. Except it's a 20% chance to burn, not a 30% chance, and also it's 90 accuracy, not 100 accuracy. Yep. So I guess that's something. But kind of a weird move. I don't know why they felt the need to make Scald plus Giga Drain, but like, okay, I guess. So I mean, especially since it already has Scald. But yeah, I don't know. I do not know. I guess you could like run Hex with this thing or something. I don't know. This thing just seems very underwhelming. I guess, like, unlike Dipplin, it does have some stuff it can do. Like, it has some tools at its disposal, but I still feel like it's just doesn't perform that well, at least in theory. I should also mention, like, since the DLC just came out, I haven't had much of a chance to use all these new guys, so these are pretty much my first impressions, and my opinions are subject to change over time on some of these guys. I should point that out, but I'm not sure if my opinions will change much on this thing, because yeah, I think, again, just underwhelming, I think, is the word. I do still feel like Poltergeist just is better, does what it wants to do, but better, so that's unfortunate. So right off the bat, we got two Mons that are already outclassed. Can we do better? Well, maybe, I don't know. So we got Bloodmoon Ursaluna. The sprite isn't updated on Showdown yet. That's fine. Just pretend it's there. So this thing is interesting in that it's a form of Ursaluna, except it's a special attacker, not a physical attacker, which is very interesting. Compare their stats. It doesn't have as much HP as regular Ursaluna, but it's got slightly more defense, less special defense. Just the tiniest bit more speed, which is an interesting choice. And then, yeah, big 135 special attack. So this thing is weird. I'm not totally sure what to make of it yet. Its ability is Mind's Eye, which is basically it's basically Scrappy, except you can't drop your accuracy. So it's I still feel like Scrappy's better because it blocks Intimidate. But I guess that doesn't really matter on this Mon, so okay. I mean, being able to hit ghost types with your normal stab is pretty cool, but yeah, I don't know, this thing is weird, because, like, okay, it's like a special attacking Ursaluna, right? So, like, okay, what do you want to give it? You want to give it a strong stab? Okay, it's got Hyper Voice, okay, not Hyper Beam, probably don't want to run that. You got Hyper Voice, gets Earth Power, okay, that's decent. Also has Moonblast, which is interesting, you know, Moonblast plus Earth Power coverage, you know, not bad at all. But then you're like, wait a second, doesn't this thing kind of do the same thing? Has the same special attack, and is also like slow and bulky, and also has Moonblast plus Earth Power. That's kind of interesting. Okay then, means thing it's Calm Mind. That's neat. You know, it's always nice to have some setup. And yeah, I mean, besides that, moves aren't looking that great, because this is the thing I don't get, and it's confusing to me, is that this thing is trying to be a special attacking Ursaluna, but they still kept all of Ursaluna's regular moves that are physical, so, and it can't really use these because its attack's pretty low, so I don't really get why that is, and it's barely got any special attacks. It's got Focus Blast, alright, cool. If you want to miss, sure. Yeah, I don't know. This thing's weird. This thing's weird for sure. It does have a new signature move, as most of the guys do, as you probably noticed by now, called Bloodmoon. How original and creative. It's basically like Boom Burst X Gigaton Hammer, basically. It's 140 base power normal move, but you can't use it twice in a row, so honestly it doesn't seem that bad on this mod, especially with its ability, meaning you can hit ghost types with it, so nothing's immune. You can't spam it, unfortunately, because, again, you know, can't use it twice, but, I don't know, maybe you could just run Protect with this thing or something and just, like, go crazy. Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of this thing, really. Because the thing Ursaluna had going for it was Guts. Guts with this thing was crazy, because obviously it made it stronger, but you also had the Stab Facade on top of that, plus Terra Normal, and that just like went crazy. This thing hits like a truck, but even with that, this thing still couldn't kick it in OU because it's just so slow. So I'm not sure if this thing will be able to do much better, considering it doesn't have Guts or anything to like make it stronger, really. I mean, the being able to hit ghost types and stuff is nice, but not totally sure if that'll be worth it. And of course, also, again, there's this thing who can still, like, I don't think this spawn's bad at all, and, like, it might be able to just do what this thing does, but better, because it has a better typing. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's just very confusing. Definitely, like, this thing seems like something I need to get my hands on and, like, test out to see, like, what I really think of it, because at first glance, it's like literally my thought was like, okay, this is like Ursaluna trying to cosplay as Enamorous T, except it doesn't do it. It's not as good as either of these at what it wants to do. It's like the worst parts of both, which I think might be true. But again, I still think, you know, should probably test it out and see how it works in action, and, you know, if it is any good. But I'm not totally sure. I mean, maybe this move will do something. I mean, Gigaton Hammer is a crazy strong move, but of course it's kind of held back by the fact that it's on Tinkaton, and Tinkaton has 75 attack, so it's not doing that much damage even. But, you know, this thing has a lot of special attack, and again, because of its ability, nothing's immune to this, so maybe it will manage to be a solid wall breaker in, like, one of the higher tiers. But honestly, if Ursaluna was struggling to do that already, I'm not sure if this thing will be able to do much better than it. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that. Anywho, next up, let's talk about the new trio. What are people calling it? The loyal 3. Yes. So let's start things off with Okidogi. So this guy's poison fighting, so it's got the same type as Sneasler and Toxicroak and friends. Abilities are Toxic Chain, which all three of them have, which is a 30% chance to inflict Toxic on all your moves. Every move has a chance to poison, which is crazy. And then other abilities, Guard Dog, which is like okay, I guess. I mean, if you're using this thing in like OU, helps out versus like Lando T. But yeah, it seems kind of a little bit situational. I think Toxic Chain is just a little bit better, just because like a chance to Toxic anything with any of your moves, kind of crazy, kind of pretty good. So this guy, I think he's pretty solid. I don't think he's amazing. He didn't like blow me away when I saw him, but like he definitely seems viable. Like the stat spread is not bad at all. This is definitely like, you look at this and like, this is a mon that knows what it wants to do, right? It's got solid bulk, not the best speed ever, but it's not slow by any means, and then really solid attack stats. So it's just this big bulky fighting type, which we have a lot of those already, but I guess, you know, this guy's a little different since he is part poison, which is pretty neat. Helps out against the fairies and whatnot. And yeah, as far as moves go, this guy has a lot of cool moves. He's got Close Combat, Crunch, Drain Punch, Fire Punch. He's got all the elemental punches. Ice Punch, T-Punch. He's got High Horsepower, Gunk Shot, Iron Head Knockoff, which is big. Poison Jab, Psychic Fangs, Superpower. He's got, excuse me, he's got a lot of cool moves. Plus, he's got some decent utility. He's got Taunt, Roar, and he can bulk up. Ooh, excuse me. It's got bulk up, which is always nice to have set up. So this thing, yeah, I mean, it's kind of straightforward, I feel like. It's, like I said, it's just a bulky fighting type. And yeah, like, it knows what it wants to do. I don't think, you know, I feel like we're not going to see that much of it in OU, just because it competes so much with Sneasler, I feel like, and I still feel like Sneasler is better than this thing, just because stats are crazy. It's got, you know, 2 good abilities. Excuse me. And yeah. So I don't know if he'll kick it in OU, but I still think he's pretty solid. Like, yeah, I mean, he kind of just seems like Toxicroak, but better, right? Like, he's just better Toxicroak. Because he's just like, Toxicroak has more special attack and a little bit more speed, but he's bulkier. He's got more attack. So it kind of just feels like he does what Toxicroak does, but better. I mean, I guess Toxicroak has the, you know, water immunity with dry skin, which is cool, but besides that, it doesn't have much over Okidogi. So yeah, this thing, I think, will be very solid in, like, lower-ish teals, like UU, RU, something like that. I think it'll be pretty good. I also think he looks very fun for draft. This guy definitely seems like he'll be a lot of fun to use there. But yeah, he's just, it's pretty good. Like, fighting types, I think, always appreciate the additional poison stab just for dealing with the fairy types, and he's got a ton of coverage beyond that. Knockoff is great. I feel like we'll see a good amount of, like, Terra Dark with this thing, just because I feel like that runs off his coverage very nicely. Because with your dual stab, you can't hit, like, ghost types and stuff like that very well, so the Dark type helps out with that. And also just stab knockoff is really sick. And yeah, I think this guy, this definitely looks pretty good. I think he has potential. But I just don't feel like he's gonna be like OU material, really. Still looks really fun to use, though. Someone I think who might have potential, though, is the other guy, Munkidori. So this guy's interesting. I'm not totally sure how good this guy will be yet, but I think he's pretty good. He looks like he's probably the best of the 3 so far. So first of all, let's talk about these stats. These stats are beautiful. These stats are immaculate. 130 special attack, nice. Always love to see that. And 106 speed, which is not a bad speed tier at all. You're you speed tie with Enamorous, who's like a decently fast mon in the metagame. It's just like a good speed tier to hit. And the defenses aren't that bad either. I mean, 66 defense is, like, not the best, but, like, 88 HP, 90 special defense is not bad. It's not bad. You can switch it on a few hits. So this guy is pretty cool. Of course, he still has Toxic Chain, like the other guy. But he also has Frisk, which is neat for draft. But otherwise, not sure how useful that will be. Probably just want Toxic Chain still. It's Poison Psychic type, so Galarian, Slowbro, Slowking type. Galarian Slowking is very good. And part of that is because its type is pretty good. But that's talking about it defensively, and this guy is trying to be offensive, so will he still be good with his typing? Well, I think maybe he could be. He's definitely, I think, has a lot of potential. Of course, you got the standard, like, dual stab, you got Psychic, you got Sludge Bomber, Sludge Wave, but then beyond that, for coverage, he has stuff like Grass Knot. He's got, where is it? Did I pass it? Focus Blast, there it is. He's also got Shadow Ball, so not like a crazy deep move pool as far as attacking moves go, but I feel like it's not that bad. In all honesty, I think I think it's just good enough, right? I think it gives him what he wants to have. because you got Focus Blast, which helps you hit Steel types, and Dark types, which are always, like with this typing, those two in particular are very annoying, so Focus Blast very useful for that. And then Shadow Ball can be useful. I guess it's not like amazing. Could be good for any ghost types if you can't hit. Like you don't want to run Shadow Ball for like stuff like Golden Go if you were using this in OU, I think for sure. But yeah, I think Focus Blast is probably better coverage. But Shadow Ball's not bad either. Beyond that, he's also got some nice other options up his sleeve. He's got Trick, which is great for choice sets if you're running like Specs or Scarf or whatever. Trick is always nice to have, just the option to cripple a bulkier mon, or if you just decide you don't want your Specs that match, if you don't want to be locked in or whatever. So that's not bad at all. He's also got setup moves. He's got both Nasty Plot and Calm Mind, so also not bad at all. Definitely could do something with that. If you want to just like make yourself even stronger and just like nuke stuff, that's very cool. And also on top of that, he's also got a few pivoting moves because he does learn U-turn, but he's also got Parting Shot, which is very, very cool. So this guy definitely has like interesting stuff to him. I think he seems pretty solid. But do I think he'll be OU? I feel like probably not. Just because I think that like right now there's too many things that are a pain to deal with, right? Because like I think his biggest issue is the dual stab, honestly. I don't think it's even that terrible. But I think you do struggle with some of the more prominent Pokemon out there, right? Because like this coverage, you can't hit King Gambit, right? Well then, I mean you could run Focus Blast, but then like I said earlier, now you can't hit Golden Ghost. So then you run Shadow Ball, but now you can't hit Gambit again. And it's just like, I don't know, I think it's kind of rough for him. I don't think he could beat everything that's a threat in the metagame. However, I think honestly could see him being pretty good in like UU or something. I don't think this guy's like that bad at all. Also thought about you could potentially do Terra Blast fighting instead of Focus Blast if you just want to, if you don't want to risk the miss. Also, I think just Terra's not that bad on this guy in general. He does have that option. And yeah, I'm really curious to see how this guy will end up working out. I think he's definitely got a lot of promise to him, but like I said, I'm at this current moment. I feel like I don't know if you'll be able to cut it in OU meta, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Still looks pretty good to me though. I think definitely looks very solid. I am not sure if I can say the same for this next guy, Fezandipiti. So this thing is weird. This thing is weird, guys. So first of all, Poison Fairy, fantastic type, phenomenal type. So far, Weezing Galar is the only other mon to have that type, and that mon's pretty good. And I think this mon definitely benefits from the typing, because they're both two very nice defensive typings. You quad resist fighting, you resist quad resist bug. What else? You resist. What does poison resist? I guess poison's neutral on you now, which is nice. You don't have to worry about that. It takes one weakness away from the fairy typing. Of course, you're still immune to dragon and all that. You got a grass resist, so I think it's not bad at all. Of course, it has Toxic Chain. It also has Technician, which is always a cool ability. However, with this mon, I'm not sure about it because I mean, look at its moves. It's got some pretty cool moves, right? It's got Brave Bird, it's got freaking Dual Wing Beat, Dazzling Gleam, Gunk Shot, Heat Wave, Hurricane, Player Rough, Poison Jab, Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb. It's got Swords Dance. Like, it's got these pretty nice moves. Okay. But then we look at the stats, and it's like, oh, you're a bulky guy. Okay. well, you have all these cool offensive moves, and you have Technician to power up the weaker ones. But then you have these kind of mid attacking stats. Okay, well, you're bulky. Do you have stuff that you can do with the bulk? I mean, he's got Roost. Okay, he's got what? Toxic, U-turn. All right. Okay. I mean, that's all right. Do you get defog? No. Okay. Well, huh. So I don't know. I don't know this thing, guys. It just confuses me. It's got all the special defense, but then, like, you know, it's got a Technician. I just don't know. I feel like something like this is probably the most likely thing you're gonna see as far as like just standard goes. If you're trying to run this thing bulky, I feel like this is your best bet. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, it still doesn't seem great, because I feel like this thing doesn't accomplish much really aside from poisoning you and then just like Roost stalling. But I don't even know how good it will be at that. So yeah, this thing is just very perplexing to me. I just feel like it's like the mon itself is confused. Like, it doesn't know what it wants to do. Like, it's got this bulky spread, so it's like, but it's not really trying to be bulky really, because it's got like Technician and a lot of attacking moves. I mean, like, I guess like offensive sets have some potential, right? Because let's have Swords Dance, so like you can run stuff like, I mean, that's the thing, is like, it doesn't, like, as far as stab moves go, it doesn't get that many strong ones. At least one's boosted by Technician. It's got Poison Tail, but like, what does that even get bumped up to? 75? It's not even like that strong. It's still weaker than Poison Jab, so like, it's better off running that. And then for fairy moves, I don't think it's got anything really besides Play Rough as far as physical goes. And at that point, it's like, okay, what other moves you get? It's not a lot. you want to run Terra normal Tail Slap with Technician loaded dice? Maybe. I guess you could. Maybe. I don't know. Does have dual Wing Beat, which is nice with Technician. You know, the Scyther Classic, and I guess you could run Terra on this thing. Make it Terra Flying, and then it'd be like, could be decent with that, but like, I don't know. This is a attack stat. This is not looking too exciting, not too enticing here. Yeah, I really don't know, guys. This mon just confuses me more than anything, because it feels like it has good parts to it, right? But I feel like those things don't synergize well. Like, it's got a good stat spread, it's got good moves, but like those two things don't complement each other, because the stat spread is good because it's bulky, and the move pool is good because it's offensive, but like those two just don't work together, and it just perplexes me, this Pokemon. It's so strange. I don't know what they were going for with it. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. This thing's weird. This thing's very weird. If I'm being honest, it's probably gonna be a low tier guide. My guess would be like NU or something. Probably around there. I mean, it does still have stuff going for it, but I feel like it's just not great at doing those things. Like, I feel like the offensive set is like very niche and like probably not like amazing, and like the defensive set's like okay, I guess, but like, I mean, it's like, just like, what do you do? Just Poison, Roost, U-turn forever? Okay, sounds pretty boring. Sounds very lame. So yeah, I really don't know what this guy's deal is. I could try using him on the ladder, but honestly, I just feel like, again, the parts of this Pokemon just conflict with each other, and it just doesn't really work. So that's just a bit unfortunate, in all honesty. But I think that's pretty much all I have to say for him. Now let's get on to the last guy to talk about, the big boy, Ogerpon. So this thing is really, really interesting. It's got a lot of stuff to go over. So basically the main gimmick with this thing, right? First of all, it has multiple forms. If you didn't already notice. So depending on what mask it wears, it'll have a different form. So it's got the regular base form, and then the other three all require you to hold a mask to access it. So we got a rock form, a fire form, and a water form. So, and they're all part grass. So, and the other ones, the Terra. Does Terra change anything? I guess their abilities change. Right. Okay. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. So anywho, so base form's just pure grass, which is not great, but I mean, you get a free item slot, which is nice, because the other guys don't. And yeah, it's, Defiant is the default ability. Definitely not bad. You know, it's, I think, always been a pretty solid ability. Punishes Intimidate, punishes Sticky Web, Defog, all that. And Ogerpon can use it pretty good, because it's got pretty solid stats, honestly. 120 attack is really nice, and 110 speed's not bad either. And the bulk's not too bad on top of that, so definitely got some potential there. As far as the moves go, though, he's got some pretty nice stuff, honestly. He does have Encore, which is cool, like support move, especially with the speed he's got. He's got a Horn Leech, which is fantastic for any physical grass type. Knockoff is big. Leech Seed could be useful. He's got Play Rough, not bad. Power Whip, Quick Attack, Seed Bomb, Spikes, which is sick. Spiky Shield, which is also really cool. He's got Superpower, which is dope. Swords Dance, so it can boost Synthesis, Taunt, Throat Chop, U-Turn, Woodhammer, Zen Headbutt. He got honestly a very solid move pool. And of course, he's also got his own signature move called the Ivy Cudgel, which is a 100 power, 100 accuracy physical grass type move, but it does change type depending on the form. So basically, it'll just change whatever, it'll match whatever the secondary type is for each form. So for rock form, it'll be a rock move. Fire move will be fire form will be fire move, and then water form will be a water move. So I mean, this isn't a bad move at all, because like it's just, you know, it's basically Earthquake, right? I feel like any move that's just like 100 it's just always solid, because it's just like there's no drawback to it, right? It's just a strong move that never misses, and like that's just always sick. So as far as like initial impressions on this guy, at least the basic form, because at first I looked at it and I was like, oh, this thing's like really cool. It's got this strong grass move, it's got knockoff, it has U-turn, it's got stuff like Play Rough and Spikes. Like, this is really cool, and it's got good stats. But then I was like, wait a second, Meowscarada also does most of those things, and it's faster, has a little bit less attack, but it also can have stab on everything. So yeah, that's just a little bit awkward, I'd say. Yeah, I mean, Ogerpon does have some stuff over Meowscarada. Like, has Swords Dance, which is like really sick. It's also got like superpower. But yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, I think, at least as far as this form is concerned, I still feel like Meowscarada just kind of outclasses it. I think it just does what this thing wants to do, but better most of the time. Besides maybe like Swords Dance sets, I think that is the one niche this thing has, but besides that, Meowscarada is just, I think, it just looks better. In my opinion, I think the speed is big, and I think Protean, of course, is always beneficial. And yeah, I don't know if Ogerpon can compete with the cat, but what about the other forms? What do they have going on for it? Well, first of all, obviously the typing is the most obvious change. Grass Rock, Grass Fire, and Grass Water, which, you know, like I said, Grass is, you know, not the best type to have. I remember I saw a league where it said Ogerpon was going to be Grass Ghost, and all the forms were going to be Part Ghost, which I thought that was going to be sick, and I would have been pretty happy if they did that, but no, they just decided to go Grass, Park Grass for all of them, which is not great. I mean, I don't think these are like terrible type combinations, honestly. Grass Rock is like actually kind of decent, funny enough, because you wouldn't think, because like on paper, Grass and Rock are both like not great types, but I mean, Cradily has that typing, and it's like honestly not terrible defensively. You don't have like a ton of weaknesses, at least not a lot of prominent ones. What are you weak to? You're weak to like fighting, ice, steel, and something else I'm forgetting. What's the last one? Is it poison? I don't know. I don't remember. But the weaknesses honestly aren't too bad with this type, and honestly offensively, type's not bad either, because Rock helps out with Grass a lot, because you can hit flying types, fire types, bug types, a bunch of stuff that normally switches into Grass. So honestly, it's not the worst typing ever. Grass Fire is like pretty decent. They complement each other to you know, the extent like you can hit other grass types, right? And also helps out with steel types, which is big. But I mean, besides that, you struggle to hit other fire types and also dragon types, so that's a bit of a downside, but not a terrible type combo. And then Grass Water is always been an interesting one. I feel like, is this the first Grass Water we've gotten since Ludicolo? I feel like it is. I feel like we haven't had any other guys. Yeah, that's crazy. And yeah, kind of like Grass Rock, it surprisingly doesn't have a lot of prominent weaknesses. Like, it's weak to poison, flying, and bug, and I think that's it, honestly. Yeah, because fire and ice get neutralized, and grass and electric get neutralized from the water typing. So 3 weaknesses, none of which are like super common or threatening, I guess, besides maybe flying. It's definitely not that bad. As far as stab goes, again, it's kind of like Grass Fire, where they complement like each other. Like water can help hit fire types and stuff, but then like you struggle to hit other grass types, and again dragon types. So typing's honestly not amazing, but could be worse. As far as their abilities go, the rock one has Sturdy, the fire one has Mold Breaker, and the water one has Water Absorb. So Sturdy, of course, is like pretty much always a useful ability. Don't know how useful it'll be on this guy though, because his defenses aren't that bad, so I don't see it getting one shot that often. But I guess it's, you know, still there, could still be useful. Mold Breaker, I'm not totally sure how useful it'll be on this mon. I mean, you know, I guess you can like set up spikes on stuff like Hatterene or stuff like that, which is pretty cool. Or Leech Seed. It's the only move, you only get Stomping Tantrum for a ground move, which isn't great, but I guess you could still hit Levitate mons with that. Yeah, Mold Breaker's always been kind of a situational ability, but like, you know, you can usually get some use out of it if you try. And then Water Absorb is like cool. I mean, it's not that necessary because obviously this typing already quad resists water anyway, but in my opinion, having an immunity is never a bad thing. It's nice to take no damage as opposed to very little damage, because very little damage can still add up. And also being able to heal up with the abilities, also cool. So yeah. So I don't know. This is like this guy. I mean, vanilla Ogerpon doesn't seem that bad. Like, you can hold an item and stuff, which is pretty cool. But these guys seem like, I don't know if the typing is like worth it. This guy seems like he could be interesting, maybe like offensively. We were on like this Swords Dance something, maybe, I don't know, could be fun. These guys, not totally sure about, because I don't know how these guys are supposed to hit dragon types. I guess you got Play Rough, so that's something. But yeah, I don't know. And of course, the big downside of these guys is they have to hold the mask, right? So you're using up an item slot. So I don't know. Honestly, don't know if that trade-off will be worth it for these forms. I guess it remains to be seen. Now, some of you may be saying, "Well, wait a second. You've been saying grass typing is bad and stuff, but can't you just use Terra to turn into a different type? And that's the funny thing. No, you can't. So, probably the biggest, most interesting gimmick with this mon is its Terra types are locked to the form. So, the regular form can only Terra Grass, Rock form can only Terra Rock, Fire form can only Terra Fire, and Water form can only Terra Water. So I guess with these guys, being able to lose the Grass typing isn't the worst thing, honestly. Definitely not, but the interesting thing, though, is when they Terra, they also... Where is it? They also get new abilities, so if I can check them all out here, no sprites on Showdown yet for these guys, but for their Terra forms, they all get this ability called Embody Aspect, and this is a pretty crazy ability. It basically just buffs, gives you +1 to one of your stats, and to what stat depends on the form. So the regular Grass form gets a speed boost, the Rock form gets a defense boost, the Fire form gets an attack boost, and the Water form gets a special defense boost. So, I mean, free stat boosts are never bad. Getting a speed boost on this guy is pretty solid. Again, though, being stuck to pure Grass is like, it's like not great. But I guess it could be worse, and the speed boost is nice, especially with these stats. And you can give it an item, so there's something there. I don't know about this guy, because I feel like, I mean, you could do something with, like, the defense, right? It's not going to show what moves he gets. That's very cool. Right, there's, like, some potential there. Yeah. But, like, honestly, I still feel like the offensive set for this guy might just be better. I mean, like, still, a free defense boost is never bad, right? If you want to drop the Grass typing in some scenario, you could do that. This guy, attack boost. What moves he got? Ivy Cudgel, Woodhammer, Play Rough maybe. Still can't hit other fire types. The Stomping Tantrum is, I don't know. It's a little awkward for this guy. I mean, the attack boost is sick because it already has very high attack, but also, do you even really need it? Really? Because he already has Sword Stance, right? So I don't know. Do not know how worth it that'll be. I will say this form I think actually could be pretty cool. The Water form, because first of all you get a Spadef boost for free, and you become a pure Water type, which that's like really good, honestly. So this thing, like, bulky, I think bulky sets are be better on this guy than the Rock form, honestly. You probably get more out of it. Yeah, I think you turn 2. Yeah, honestly, like, I feel like this thing as a support mon would not be bad with Terra. You just turn pure Water, you get the Spadef boost, and then, like, you're just you're just chilling. You do speed. You can even do, like, invest in your defense instead. Yeah, this honestly might be the best one of the forms, honestly. I mean, this one still looks like it'll be not you, definitely not you. I think this one, like, will definitely still be, like, the most flexible because of just having, like, a free item slot. I think is like a really, like, big buff to this thing, but again, I still feel like Masquerade is just kind of better than this thing, honestly. So I don't know if it'll hold up. I don't know if any of these dudes will hold up, to be honest. Will they be OU? Maybe not. They might be UU, honestly. I feel like with the amount of power creep that's in this gen, I'm not sure if this is enough to keep up with. And plus the fact that, like, this is the one mana in the game that is limited in its Terra types. Like, the whole point of Terra is the mon can be any type, but then this guy can't do that, which is just, like, really sucks, honestly. Yeah, it's just I really don't know. This is definitely, like, the most, like, uncertain I feel about him on out of all the new ones, because just like there's like he has a lot going for it, but it's just there's also a lot of downsides, and also it's just a weird mon, right? We never had something quite like this before, so I'm still not totally sure what to make of it. But we'll see. Honestly though, as far as all the new mons we've gotten, I don't think any of them are that crazy or like gonna be that broken. Honestly, of all of them, I think the best one's probably Munkidori. And even that, like I said, I don't know if he'll be able to beat OU. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with them. But yeah, definitely interesting. Definitely worth looking an eye out on them and trying them out for yourself on the ladder. Because they definitely got a lot going on. A lot of interesting stuff happening. But yeah, I think I've said most of what I want to say at this point. Yeah, really curious to see how these new mons work. But I guess time will tell. But for now, I think that's going to be the video. Those are my initial thoughts on all of them. So let me know what you guys think about these new mons down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Your thoughts and opinions on all of them. If you've already used these mons, what do you guys think of them? You think they're good? You think they're bad? You think they'll have potential in lower tiers maybe? I wanna hear. So sound off in the comments. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Thank you all for watching the video, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace, peace.